The sound of the doorbell echoed through the stately mansion in Greenwich, Connecticut, as Amber Collins nervously adjusted the strap of her worn purse. His brown eyes roamed the three-story facade of the Richardson residence, trying not to be intimidated by the grandeur of the place that could become his new workplace. "Take a deep breath," she murmured to herself, thinking about Mason, her 7-year-old son, who was at school at that moment. It was because of him that she was there, ready for an interview that could change their lives. The door opened, revealing a middle-aged lady with a stern expression. "Miss Collins? Mr. Richardson is waiting in the office." Amber followed the current housekeeper, Mrs. Peterson, through a hallway decorated with classical paintings and furniture that probably cost more than her annual rent. The sound of her footsteps was muffled by the luxurious Persian carpet, and she could feel the weight of the silence that hung over the house. The office was exactly as expected, imposing, with floor-to-ceiling mahogany bookshelves and a privileged view of the well-kept gardens. Behind a massive desk sat Alexander Richardson, CEO of one of the country's largest technology companies. At 42, his presence commanded immediate respect, even as he sat casually in his leather chair. "Miss Collins, please sit down." His voice was deep and controlled. "Your resume is impressive. Pediatric nurse for 8 years at Hartford Hospital. Why the career change?" Amber straightened her shoulders. "Being a single mother requires adjustments, Mr. Richardson. The night shifts were affecting my ability to be there for my son. When I saw the governess position with more regular hours and the ability for Mason to attend the same school as his children, it seemed like a perfect opportunity." Alexander studied her for a moment before continuing. "Mrs. Peterson is retiring after 20 years with our family. I have to be blunt. Since Catherine passed away 8 months ago, Sebastian and Sophia have been challenging. They've already gone through 3 nannies." A sudden noise in the hallway interrupted the conversation. The office door opened violently, and 2 identical preteens invaded the space. The boy was holding a remote-controlled plane, while the girl was trying to reach him. "Sebastian, give it back to me. Dad, he took my science project." "Project? You just glued some wings to it." Alexander stood up. "Children, we are in an important meeting." The twins stopped instantly, noticing Amber for the first time. His blue eyes, identical to her father's, analyzed her with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion. "Other?" Sebastian muttered, his voice thick with disdain. Amber remained calm, years of experience with difficult children in the hospital serving as her foundation. "Actually, I'm Amber. And that plane looks really interesting. Have you guys tried adding elevators to the wings for better control?" Sophia blinked in surprise. "Do you understand aerodynamics?" "My son is fascinated by airplanes. We spent many afternoons building models together." The twins exchanged glances, a silent communication that only brothers can have. "Out now," Alexander ordered, but his voice betrayed a deep weariness. The children left, but not before Sophia cast one last curious look at Amber. "As you can see, it won't be easy," he continued, running a hand through his dark hair. "They are hurting. We all are. Catherine was the heart of this house." Amber nodded, recognizing the familiar pain in his eyes. "Mr. Richardson, losing someone you love leaves deep scars. 5 years ago, when Mason's father passed away in an accident, I thought we would never be able to move on. But I've learned that healing is a process, not a destination." Alexander watched her with renewed interest. "And how is your son now?" He smiles again. "There are difficult days, of course, but we learn to honor his father's memory by celebrating his life." The silence that followed was interrupted by more noise in the hallway, this time laughter. Alexander sighed, but Amber noticed a slight smile on his lips. "The job includes living in the mansion's 2-bedroom annex. In addition to supervising the children, you would be responsible for coordinating the domestic staff and general organization of the home. The salary is commensurate with your qualifications, and Mason would be welcome at Riverside Day School, where the twins attend. Still interested?" Amber thought about her small apartment in Hartford, about the always tight bills, about the nights when Mason had to stay with the neighbor while she worked. He also thought about the twins' sad eyes, so similar to those of his own son in the first months after the loss. "Yes, sir. Very interested." "Great. When can you start?" A week later, Amber parked her used Civic in the driveway of the Richardson mansion, Mason practically jumping into the passenger seat. Their few possessions were packed in the trunk, representing not just a change of address but a new chapter in their lives. "Mom, it's like a castle," Mason exclaimed, his green eyes shining with excitement. Before he could respond, the twins appeared at the top of the main staircase. Sebastian carried the same remote-controlled plane, now with visible modifications to the wings. "Hey, new kid," he called. "Want to see how it flies now?" Mason looked at Amber, silently asking for permission. She nodded, watching her son eagerly climb the steps. "Do you like Star Wars?" Sophia asked Mason, who responded with an enthusiastic nod. Alexander appeared at the door, observing the scene with an expression that mixed surprise and hope. Her eyes met Amber's, and she understood that she wasn't the only one there looking for a new beginning. As the children disappeared into the house, their excited voices echoing through the halls, Amber realized that maybe, just maybe, this mansion could become more than a workplace. It could become a home for two families in desperate need of healing. The first week at the Richardson mansion proved to be a roller coaster of emotions for Amber. As I unpacked the last boxes in the cozy annex, I watched Mason through the window, running through the garden with Sebastian and Sophia. The sound of children's laughter echoed through the air, a marked contrast to the silence that previously dominated the property. "He adapted quickly," Alexander commented, approaching silently. Amber was startled, not expecting to find him home at that time of day. "Mr. Richardson, I thought you were in the office." "Alex, please. And yes, it should be. But today is Sophia's science project presentation day." He hesitated, adjusting his navy blue tie. "It's the first time since, well, Catherine always attended these events." Amber recognized the pain in his voice. She would be proud. Sophia worked really hard on that plane. "With your help," he added, a small smile softening his normally serious features. The twins never took anyone's suggestions so easily. Before Amber could respond, a piercing scream cut through the air. In the garden, Sebastian was on the ground, holding his ankle, while Mason and Sophia ran towards him. Within seconds, Amber and Alexander crossed the garden. Her nurse instincts took over as she gently examined the swollen ankle. "It looks like a slight sprain," he diagnosed, noticing the relief in Alex's eyes. "We're going to need ice and rest." "I can't miss Sophia's performance," Sebastian protested, tears threatening to fall. "And you won't," Amber assured him, helping him to his feet. "We just need to bandage it properly." In the kitchen, while applying ice and a bandage, Amber noticed the curious looks of her three children. Mason had assumed the role of assistant, passing him the necessary materials with professional seriousness. "Did you do that at the hospital?" asked Sophia, fascinated. "That and much more. I've seen a little bit of everything in the pediatric ward." "Our mother was a doctor," Sebastian commented softly, surprising everyone with the spontaneous mention of Catherine. "She always said that injuries are badges of adventure." Alex, who was watching from the doorway, closed his eyes briefly. It was the first time the twins spoke about their mother without bitterness or anger. Later, at the school presentation, Amber watched proudly as Sophia explained the aerodynamic principles of her design. Sebastian, even with his ankle bandaged, operated the remote control, demonstrating the modifications. Mason watched in fascination, occasionally whispering, "That's cool," when the plane performed particularly impressive maneuvers. "They're good together," Alex murmured, sitting next to Amber. "All of them." On the way back, Sophia couldn't stop talking about her first-place medal, while Sebastian loudly planned improvements for the next project. Mason contributed enthusiastic suggestions, already fully integrated into the group. "Mom," Sebastian called suddenly, "do you think we can make cookies today? Like Like Mom did? The car was silent. It was the first time one of the twins had called her Mom, even casually. Of course, Amber replied softly, meeting Alex's gaze in the rearview mirror. But they're going to have to teach me the recipe. The afternoon in the kitchen turned into a mix of laughter, stories, and a bit of culinary chaos. As the kids talked about cookie traditions with Catherine, Amber noticed layers of grief being delicately peeled away. She always added extra cinnamon, Sophia recalled, sifting the flour. And dark chocolate because it was Dad's favorite, Sebastian added, limping over to the ingredients cupboard. Mason, covered in flour, took in every detail. Can we do this every week? How about we alternate? Amber suggested. 1 week cookies from Catherine, another week brownies from Grandma Marie. The mention of his own mother, who passed away 3 years ago, brought a bittersweet smile to his lips. Alex appeared in the kitchen doorway, jacket abandoned and shirt sleeves rolled up. Can I help? You? Sebastian laughed. Dad, you've never cooked in your life. First time for everything, he replied, grabbing an apron. Your mother always said I should learn. Night fell over the Richardson mansion, finding 5 people around the kitchen island, enjoying lightly toasted cookies and sharing memories. It was a simple moment, but Amber felt something shifting in the air, as if small cracks were beginning to fill. Later, after putting Mason to bed, Amber found Alex on the terrace, gazing at the stars with a cup of coffee in hand. Thank you, he said simply. For today. For everything. No need to thank us. We're all learning together. You know, he hesitated. Catherine would love to see the twins like this. She always said that broken hearts can be mended with enough love. Amber smiled, thinking about her own healing journey. Your wife seemed to be a very wise woman. It was. Alex turned to her, his eyes reflecting the soft light from the terrace. And I think she would have approved of you. The moment was interrupted by a sleepy call from Sebastian, complaining of pain in his ankle. As Amber headed to his room, carrying an ice pack, she realized that maybe Catherine was right. Maybe broken hearts could truly be mended, one cookie at a time, one laugh at a time, one moment at a time. And there, on that quiet autumn night in Greenwich, 2 broken families were slowly beginning to find their way back to wholeness. A month had passed since the science project presentation, and the routine at the Richardson mansion was beginning to find its own rhythm. Amber watched the October rain through the library window as she organized her weekly schedule. The sound of drops against the glass mixed with the distant voices of children playing in the twins' room. The phone vibrated, bringing bad news. The school was canceling classes the next day due to the forecast storm. As I typed a message to Alex, a heated argument broke out upstairs. It's not fair, Sebastian's voice echoed through the hall. You always keep Mommy's things. The sound of something breaking sent Amber running up the stairs. He found Sophia crying, holding a delicate porcelain jewelry box broken in half, while Sebastian was shaking with rage. It was my turn to be with him, he shouted, tears streaming down his face. Mason was huddled in the corner, his wide eyes reminding Amber painfully of the first few months after her father's death. Take a deep breath, Seb, Amber approached calmly. Let's talk about this. I don't want to talk. I want my mother back. Sebastian ran out, slamming the door to his room. Sophia sobbed, trying to piece together the jewelry box. It was her grandmother's. Mom let us take turns putting away our special things. Amber gently helped Sophia collect the fragments. You know, there are artisans who can restore broken pieces using liquid gold. The cracks turn golden, making the object even more beautiful and special. How is that? Sophia asked, wiping away her tears. It's a Japanese art called kintsugi. They believe that something broken doesn't need to be hidden. Scars tell a story of overcoming. Mason approached timidly. Like the photo of Dad I broke last year? Exactly, honey. Remember how we fixed the frame and now it has those beautiful silver lines? Thunder shook the house, and Sebastian shouted from his room, Dad, I want Dad. Amber checked her cell phone. No response from Alex. The storm was likely delaying traffic. Sophia, why don't you and Mason go to the kitchen and make hot chocolate? I'm going to talk to your brother. He found Sebastian curled up on his bed, holding a blue wool coat. The faint scent of perfume still lingered on the fabric, a gift from Catherine last Christmas. Can I come in? Amber asked softly. An almost imperceptible nod was his response. He sat on the edge of the bed, respecting the boy's space. You know, when my husband died, I had days like that too. Days when the longing hurt so much that I wanted to scream. Sebastian turned around slowly. How did you make it stop hurting? It doesn't stop completely, but I've learned that pain means love is still alive within us. Another thunder, closer. Sebastian flinched instinctively. Mom always sang when there was a storm, he whispered. She said it was angels bowling. Amber smiled. My mom said the same thing. Do you want to come down? Sophia and Mason are making hot chocolate. First, can you help me look for something? Together they searched the closet until they found a decorated shoebox. Inside there was another jewelry box identical to the broken one. Mommy gave us one each, Sebastian explained. I hid mine because it hurts to look at it sometimes. I see. But how about we share it with Sophia? That way you can take turns again. In the kitchen they found Alex soaked, helping the children with the chocolate. His worried look softened when he saw Sebastian. Sorry for the delay. The traffic is chaotic. Sebastian ran to hug his father, still holding the jewelry box. Dad, can we fix Sophia's? Amber talked about an art with gold. While Alex listened intently about kintsugi, Amber prepared extra mugs of chocolate. Mason passed out marshmallows, counting precisely 3 for each cup, just like Catherine did, according to Sophia. Amber? Alex called softly when the children were distracted by a board game. Thank you for understanding. There will always be hard days, she replied. The important thing is not to face them alone. The storm continued into the night, but inside the Richardson mansion, something was changing. In the living room, 5 people shared stories, hot chocolate, and the silent understanding that sometimes things need to break to be put back together stronger and more beautiful. Before going to sleep, Sebastian asked to place his jewelry box next to his sister's on the shelf. Like the wings of an airplane, he explained. One side balances the other. Amber smiled, thinking about how wisdom sometimes comes from the most unexpected sources. At the door to the twins' room, Alex stopped next to him. They're learning to fly again, he murmured, his hand lightly brushing Amber's arm. The touch, although brief, sent a shiver down his spine. We all are, she replied, retreating to the annex where Mason was already sleeping. That night, as the storm subsided, Amber reflected on how life had curious ways of putting broken people together, like puzzle pieces that didn't know they made up a bigger picture until they found each other. An unexpected letter arrived one Thursday morning, the yellowed envelope with the Anderson and Partners law firm postmark standing out among the routine bills. Amber found Alex in her office, the paper shaking slightly in her hands. Catherine's will, he murmured when he noticed her presence. Apparently there is a clause that should only be revealed a year after his death. Amber hesitated at the door, aware of the sensitivity of the moment. Do you want me to come back later? No, Alex responded quickly, his voice betraying a rarely shown vulnerability. Please stay. The sound of children's laughter echoed from the garden, where Mrs. Peterson supervised the children building a treehouse, a project that had bonded Mason and the twins even closer. Catherine left letters, Alex continued, running a hand through the gray hair at his temples. One for each of the twins, to be given when they turn 18, and, he paused, there's one for me, to be opened now. Amber watched as he delicately opened the envelope, the thin paper revealing Catherine's elegant handwriting. The silence in the office was almost palpable as Alex read, her emotions dancing clearly across her face. She knew, he whispered finally. The cancer. She found out months before she told us. She used that time to plan, to prepare. Her voice trailed off. Instinctively, Amber moved closer, placing a gentle hand on his shoulder. She wanted to protect you until the last moment. There's more, Alex continued, his gaze fixed on the letter. She talks about moving on, about not letting the guilt consume me, about finding happiness again. He looked at Amber, something indefinable in his blue eyes. How could she know? Before Amber could respond, alarmed screams came from the garden. They ran to the window to see Sebastian hanging precariously from a broken branch, while Sophia and Mason screamed for help. Alex and Amber arrived at the garden in seconds. With a calm born of years of emergency experience, Amber directed Sebastian to slowly move toward the main trunk, while Alex positioned himself underneath, ready to catch him. When Sebastian was finally safely on the ground, shaking but unharmed, emotions boiled over. Sophia hugged her crying brother. Mason clung to Amber's hand, and Alex wrapped the three of them in a tight hug. "I'm sorry, Dad," Sebastian sobbed. "I just wanted to get higher." "Shh, it's okay," Alex murmured, his own face streaked with unshed tears. "You're safe. That's what matters." Later, after dinner and with the children finally calm in their rooms, Amber found Alex again in the office, Catherine's letter still on the table. "She wrote about you," he said softly, surprising her. "Like this?" "Not you specifically, but she said that when the right person came along I would know, that it would be someone who would understand not only my pain, but the children's as well." Alex stood up, approaching her. "Someone who would bring light back to this house." Amber's heart sped up. "Alex, I know it's complicated," he continued. "We are boss and employee. We both carry scars. We have children to think about. But today, when I saw Sebastian in danger, I realized something. You didn't hesitate. You didn't act like an employee. You acted like family." "The kids are priority," Amber replied softly. "All of them." "It's more than that." Alex took another step towards him. "Since you arrived, this house has felt like a home again. The twins are processing their grief in a healthy way. Mason has brought an energy we haven't had in a long time. And He hesitated. "I find myself looking for you in every room." Amber felt her defenses begin to give way. "I'm scared too," he admitted. "Of confusing gratitude with something else, of complicating children's lives, of not being what you need. What if it's exactly what we need?" Alex touched her face gently. What if Catherine was right? The moment was interrupted by footsteps in the hallway. Sophia appeared in the doorway, her eyes sleepy. "Dad? I can't sleep. I keep thinking about Seb falling." Alex gently pulled away from Amber. "How about some hot chocolate, like Mom used to do on rough nights?" In the kitchen, while they were preparing the drink, Sebastian and Mason also appeared, as if drawn by a silent call. Soon the five of them were sitting around the island, sharing not just chocolate, but also stories about Catherine, about Mason's father, about fears and hopes. "You know," Sophia said thoughtfully, "I think Mom sent you to us, Amber." The simplicity of the statement hit Amber like a gentle wave. Looking at Alex over the children's heads, she saw the same understanding in their eyes. Sometimes love comes not to replace what was lost, but to show that the heart has an infinite capacity to grow. And there, in that softly lit kitchen, 4 hurting hearts began to understand that perhaps destiny had, after all, a bigger plan for them all. The November wind shook the last leaves from the trees as Amber organized a box of photographs found in the mansion's attic. Alex had asked for his help in separating some images for the twins' birthday, which was approaching. Each photo revealed a fragment of the Richardsons' lives before their arrival. Catherine smiling at a picnic, the twins taking their first steps, Alex younger and carefree. One photograph in particular caught his eye. Catherine in a white coat, hugging a red-haired woman in a hospital corridor. Turning the image over, he read the inscription, "With Rachel, Hartford Hospital, 2015. The name made his heart stop. Rachel Hammond had been her mentor during her early years as a pediatric nurse. The coincidence was too striking to ignore. "Did you find anything interesting?" Alex's voice surprised her. "Did your wife know Rachel Hammond?" Alex walked over, taking the photo. Yes, they worked together for years. Rachel was the one who diagnosed Catherine's cancer initially. He paused, studying Amber's face. "Why?" "Rachel was my mentor at Hartford. Amber hesitated, painful memories resurfacing. "She was there when I lost my husband. She was the one who helped me keep working, even on the hardest days." Alex sat next to him, the revelation hovering between them. "The world is smaller than we imagine," he murmured, his fingers lightly brushing Amber's over the box. The moment was interrupted by Mason, who ran into the attic. "Mom, Sebastian is having another nightmare." Since the treehouse incident, Sebastian had been having recurring dreams about falling. Amber and Alex rushed to the boy's room, finding him restless on his bed, while Sophia held his hand. "Hey, champ." Alex sat on the edge of the bed, running his hand through his son's hair. "We're here." Amber noticed the porcelain jewelry box pressed against Sebastian's chest. "Was it the same dream?" Sebastian nodded, still shaking. "But this time Mom was there. She was trying to reach me, but I couldn't hold her hand." Mason approached shyly, offering his favorite teddy bear, his father's last gift. "When I have nightmares, Mr. Patches helps." The simple gesture brought tears to everyone's eyes. Sebastian accepted the bear with a small smile, and Sophia settled down next to her brother on the king-sized bed. "Can we have a slumber party?" Mason asked, looking hopefully at the adults. Alex and Amber exchanged looks. It was a school night, but some rules could be relaxed at special times. "Why not?" Alex agreed, surprising the children. "I'll go get more blankets." As they helped build a pillow fort, Amber observed how the two families had naturally become intertwined. Mason spent so much time with the twins that it was hard to remember what it was like before. And Alex, well, his presence had become as essential as the air he breathed. "Tell a story," Sophia asked, nestled between the pillows. "How about the story of two very special doctors?" suggested Amber, taking the photo that was still in her pocket. "One of them was your mother." The children settled in, curious, as Amber shared memories of Rachel and, through them, revealed a new side of Catherine that the twins didn't know. "Your mother saved a lot of lives," she said. "Rachel always said that Catherine had a special gift for comforting families in their most difficult times." "Like you, Mom," Mason commented sleepily, not realizing the weight of his words. The silence that followed was charged with emotion. Amber felt Alex's hand find hers in the dim light of the room. "Yes," Alex whispered. "Just like Amber." When the children finally fell asleep, Amber and Alex remained sitting on the bedroom floor, their backs resting against the base of the bed. "I can't believe we've never made this connection before," Alex commented, still holding the photo. "Catherine mentioned Rachel often. She would have loved to know you were here now." "Sometimes I think it wasn't a coincidence," Amber admitted. "Maybe Rachel knew. Maybe she guided me here somehow." Alex turned to her, his eyes reflecting the soft light from the lamp. "Amber, about what's going on between us." "I know," she interrupted softly. "It is complicated." "No," he took your hands in his. "It's the clearest thing I've felt in a long time. Catherine was right in the letter. When the right person arrived, I would know." Amber's heart sped up. "The children, they're already a family," he added, gesturing to the small sleeping group. "Look at them." Mason was spread out between the twins, Mr. Patches tightly hugged by Sebastian, while Sophia had a protective arm over both of them. "I'm scared," Amber confessed, "of ruining it, of not being enough." "You already are," Alex leaned in, his lips inches from hers. You always were. The first kiss was soft, full of unspoken promises and renewed hope. When they separated, Amber saw in his eyes the same mix of fear and certainty she felt. A small movement in the bed made them move away. Sophia had turned over, muttering something in her sleep. The moment was broken, but the change was irreversible. We should get some sleep, Amber suggested, standing up. Tomorrow will be a long day. Alex nodded but held her hand once more. We look good together, don't we? Yes, she smiled, looking at the children. We all stayed. That night, as she walked to her room in the annex, Amber thought about Rachel, about Catherine, and about the mysterious ways life chose to heal broken hearts. Maybe some stories needed time to find their true beginning. An unexpected call from Rachel Hammond shook up Amber's morning. Her former mentor called to invite her for coffee, revealing that Alex had been in touch to discuss Catherine's medical history. I should have connected the dots sooner, Rachel said. When Alex mentioned a housekeeper named Amber Collins, my heart jumped. Now, sitting in an inconspicuous coffee shop in Greenwich, Amber watched her former mentor absent-mindedly stir her coffee. Rachel looked older, but her green eyes held the same discerning sparkle. Catherine talked about you a lot over the last few months, Rachel began. She was worried about the twins' future, about Alex. She knew they would need someone special. Rachel, you... No, she smiled. I didn't manipulate anything. But when I saw the job posting, I thought of you. I left a subtle message for Alex about looking for someone with pediatric nursing experience. Amber took in the information, remembering the initial interview. So it wasn't a coincidence that he seemed so interested in my hospital history. Catherine believed in destiny, Rachel continued. And honestly, seeing you guys now, she would be happy. Amber's cell phone vibrated. A message from Sophia asking for help with an art project. The attached photo showed a partially painted canvas depicting 5 figures holding hands. I need to go. Amber stood up, but Rachel held her hand. She left something for you too. Rachel took an envelope out of her bag. He asked me to hand it over when he felt the time was right. With shaking hands, Amber took the envelope. Catherine's elegant handwriting spelled out her full name on the front. Back at the mansion, he found the art room filled with paints and brushes. Mason and Sebastian were trying to help Sophia with the background of the painting, while Alex watched from the doorway, an amused expression on his face. Help! Sophia exclaimed when she saw her. The trees are not looking natural. Maybe because purple trees don't exist, Sebastian teased, earning an annoyed look from his sister. It's abstract art, Sophia argued. It doesn't have to be realistic. Amber slipped Catherine's envelope into her pocket, deciding that moment belonged in the present. He helped children with painting techniques, showing how to mix colors to create depth. Who are these people? Asked Mason, pointing to the figures in the center of the screen. Sophia blushed slightly. It's us, a family. The silence that followed was charged with emotion. Alex walked over, placing a hand on Amber's shoulder. It's perfect, he murmured, his voice hoarse with emotion. Later, after dinner, and with the kids busy with homework, Amber finally found the courage to open Catherine's letter. Sitting on the bench in the garden where she used to watch the children playing, she began to read. Dear Amber, even though we've never met, I feel like I know your heart through Rachel's stories. She told me about her strength in facing loss, about her unconditional love for Mason, about her dedication to her little patients. As I write this letter, I know my time is limited. My biggest concern is not leaving, but leaving my family without a center of gravity. Alex is a wonderful father, but he will need someone who understands that love is not a replacement. It is an expansion. Sebastian and Sophia are like 2 halves of my heart, different but inseparable. They will need someone who sees beyond their pain, someone who understands that healing does not mean forgetting. If you're reading this, it means that somehow our paths crossed as Rachel and I had hoped. Don't carry guilt for loving my family. It's not a betrayal to find happiness in the places I left empty. Care for them as I know you will, with patience, understanding, and that special love that only those who have known loss know how to give. With affection, Catherine. Tears blurred his vision as he felt Alex sit down next to him. The kids are finally asleep, he said softly. Sophia insisted on hanging the painting in the main hallway. Speechless, Amber handed him the letter. She watched as he read, his emotions dancing clearly on his face. She always knew, Alex whispered finally, even before us. Alex, He interrupted her with a soft kiss, different from the first one they had shared. This one carried certainty, promise, future. We don't need to have all the answers right now, he said when they broke apart. We can build this slowly, at our own pace. A noise in the house caught his attention. Mason had woken up and was looking for Amber. The reality of their complex lives called for patience and care. Small steps? Amber suggested, standing up. Baby steps, Alex agreed, holding her hand. As they walked back to the house, Amber thought about Catherine, about Rachel, and about the mysterious paths that destiny chose. Sometimes love wasn't a single story, but a mosaic of interconnected stories, each piece contributing to a bigger, more beautiful picture than anyone could imagine on their own. The invitation to Hartford Hospital's annual charity ball arrived on a Thursday, bringing with it a wave of anxiety for Amber. As a board member, Rachel had included the Richardsons and Collins on the guest list, marking Alex and Amber's first public appearance together since their relationship began to blossom. It's just dinner, Alex tried to reassure her as the kids ate breakfast. Besides, Mason and the twins are already excited to spend the night at Mrs. Peterson's. It's not just dinner, Sophia interrupted, her toast forgotten on her plate. It's like an official date, like in the movies. Sebastian rolled his eyes, but his smile betrayed him. Are you guys going to waltz and stuff? And can I be the page at the wedding? Mason asked innocently, making Amber choke on her coffee. Easy, champ, Alex chuckled, though his cheeks had turned a rosy hue. Let's take it one step at a time. Later, while helping Sophia with her math homework, Amber noticed the girl being quieter than usual. Penny for your thoughts? Sophia bit her lip, hesitant. It's just, when Mom died, I thought we'd never see Dad really smile again. But now, she paused, playing with her pencil. He feels lighter, just like before. Amber's heart sank. Sophia, I want you to know that I never intend to replace your mother. I know, the girl replied softly. It's different, like when you mend something torn. You can still see where it was broken, but it's strong again, just in a new way. The wisdom in the girl's words left Amber speechless for a moment. Before he could elaborate, Sebastian and Mason burst into the room, carrying a partially assembled science project. Mom, Mason called excitedly. Look what we did! It's a volcano that really explodes. Mason's mom directed at her did not go unnoticed by anyone present. Sebastian froze momentarily, but then relaxed, a small smile appearing on his lips. Can we test it in the garden? Sebastian asked, his eyes shining with expectation. After homework, Amber and Alex responded simultaneously from the doorway, where he had silently appeared. The children's laughter filled the room, and Amber felt something fit in her chest, as if another piece of a puzzle had found its place. On prom night, Amber nervously adjusted the navy blue dress that Sophia had insisted she buy. The flowing fabric fell gracefully, and for the first time in years, she allowed herself to feel truly beautiful. You look stunning. Alex's voice surprised her. He was standing in the doorway of the annex, impeccable in his black tuxedo. Have the kids left yet? Mrs. Peterson just picked them up. Sebastian promised not to blow anything up, and Sophia swore to keep Mason away from their makeshift lab. Amber laughed, but her nervousness persisted. Alex, all those people. He came closer, gently adjusting a curl that had escaped her bun. All those people don't matter. What matters is that we are in this together. The ballroom at the Hartford Marriott was decorated elegantly, with crystals sparkling under the soft lights. Rachel greeted them at the entrance, her knowing smile saying more than words. Catherine loved this event, she commented softly. She always said that this was where she saw the true humanity of people, willing to help even in the midst of glamour. Alex gently squeezed Amber's hand, and she understood that she wasn't alone in her mix of emotions. During dinner, between polite conversations and polite smiles, Amber observed Alex interacting with his peers from the corporate world. He was different, lighter, more present, as Sophia had noticed. "You guys look good together," a familiar voice commented. It was Dr. Marcus Chen, his former supervisor at the hospital. "It's good to see you happy, Amber. After James—" "Thank you, Marcus," she interrupted softly. "Sometimes life surprises us with second chances." The music started playing, and Alex appeared at your side, extending his hand in silent invitation. On the dance floor, rocked by a soft melody, the world seemed to disappear around them. "What are you thinking about?" he murmured against her hair. "In children. In us. In how unpredictable life is." "Regret?" "Not for a second." Back at the mansion, long after midnight, they found a note from the children in the kitchen, a drawing of the 5 of them together, with hearts and stars around them. In the corner, in childish handwriting, was written, "Our family." "They're wiser than us sometimes," Alex commented, hugging Amber from behind as she admired the drawing. "Speaking of which," she turned in his arms, "I think we need to talk about how Mason called Sebastian his brother earlier today." Alex smiled, that smile that made his eyes shine. "What about how Sebastian didn't correct him?" "Exactly." "Perhaps," he said, kissing her forehead softly. "The children figured all this out long before we did." That night, as she prepared for bed in her room in the annex, Amber reflected on how life had curious ways of healing broken hearts. Sometimes you had to lose something precious to make room for something equally valuable, even if different. And maybe, she thought, looking at the photo of the children on her bedside table, love didn't need rigid definitions. Maybe it could simply grow, like a tree that finds light in even the most unlikely cracks. Sophia's painting, now framed and hanging in the main hallway of the Richardson mansion, had become a frequent stopping point for all of the home's residents. That December morning, Amber found Sebastian standing before her, his hands clutching a crumpled envelope. "It's hers," he said without turning around, knowing Amber was there. "I found it hidden in one of the library books, a letter Mom wrote in the hospital." Amber approached cautiously, noticing how the boy's shoulders were shaking slightly. "Want to share?" Sebastian hesitated before handing over the envelope. Catherine's handwriting, although shaky, maintained its characteristic elegance. "To my little aviator." "She wrote about you," Sebastian whispered. "Not directly, but she said that one day I would find someone who would teach me how to fly again." The meaning of those words weighed heavily between them. Since the treehouse incident, Sebastian had developed a renewed interest in aviation, this time focusing on theory and safety, with Amber guiding his enthusiasm in a constructive way. "You know," he continued, "before you came, I hated it when Dad tried to make us happy. It felt wrong to smile when Mom wasn't here. And now I understand that she wanted that it's okay to be happy in a different way." The moment was interrupted by Mason and Sophia coming down the stairs, carrying art supplies. "Mom," Mason called, the term now flowing naturally, "can we make Christmas decorations?" It was the first time the children had mentioned Christmas since Amber arrived. Alex had commented on how the holidays were particularly difficult, being Catherine's favorite time of year. "Of course," Amber replied, exchanging a meaningful look with Sebastian. "Why don't we do something special this year?" The next few hours were filled with colorful paper, glitter, and laughter. Sophia revealed an astonishing talent for origami, creating delicate golden stars. Sebastian and Mason worked together on a secret project, whispering and laughing in the corner of the room. Alex found the group in the middle of the afternoon, standing at the door with an expression that mixed surprise and emotion. "What happened here?" "We're bringing Christmas back," Sophia declared with determination. "Mom wouldn't want the house to be sad forever." The simplicity of the statement struck everyone. Alex walked over, sitting on the floor next to Amber. "No, she wouldn't want to," he agreed softly. "Can we have a tree?" Mason asked hesitantly. "At home we always had a small one, but here there is so much space." "Actually," Alex cleared his throat, "I already ordered one. It arrives tomorrow." The children erupted in celebration, but Amber noticed something else in their eyes, a gleam of complicity that suggested they were up to something. Later, after dinner, Alex and Amber walked through the garden lit by small lights that Mrs. Peterson had discreetly installed. "Sebastian showed me the letter today," Amber commented, intertwining her fingers with his. "Ah," Alex sighed. "The one Catherine wrote about aviation? Did you know? I found my copy a few weeks ago. She had a way of seeing beyond the present, didn't she?" Amber stopped, turning to face him. "Alex, the kids are planning something. Have you noticed how they've been whispering?" He smiled, that smile that made his eyes shine. "Leave them. Maybe we need their wisdom sometimes." The sound of soft music began to play from the house. White Christmas, Catherine's favorite, as Alex had once mentioned. "Dance with me?" he asked, gently pulling her into his arms. Under the Connecticut stars, lulled by the nostalgic melody, they slowly danced. Amber thought about how life had curious ways of weaving new patterns from broken threads. "I changed the attachment papers today," Alex murmured against her hair. "It's now officially in the Collins name, too." Amber pulled away slightly, surprised. "Alex, it's not a request," he quickly clarified. "Not yet. It's just a reassurance that this is your home too, no matter what." The tears that Amber had been holding back finally escaped. "Do the children know?" "It was their idea, actually. Sebastian said that siblings should live in the same house." The moment was interrupted by laughter coming from the library window. 3 faces quickly hid behind the curtains. "Our little cupids aren't very discreet," Alex laughed. "No," Amber agreed, wiping away her tears. "But they are incredibly efficient." Back at the house, they found the children pretending to be engrossed in a board game. The secret project was gone, but traces of glitter betrayed its existence. "Time for bed," Amber announced, earning automatic protests. "5 more minutes?" Mason tried, using his best pleading expression. "Tomorrow the tree comes early," Alex remembered, "and something tells me you're going to want to be well rested for whatever surprise you're planning." The 3 exchanged guilty looks before surrendering, going up the stairs amidst conspiratorial giggles. That night, while cleaning up the artistic mess in the living room, Amber found a folded piece of paper under the couch. It was a draft of the secret project, a handmade Our Family banner decorated with paper airplanes, gold stars, and little hearts. Smiling, she put the paper back where she found it. Some surprises deserve to maintain their mystery, especially those born of pure love and childish hope. Christmas Eve morning began with the sound of hurried footsteps in the hallway. Amber woke up to Mason jumping on her bed in the annex, his green eyes shining with excitement. "Mom, you need to see it. Sebastian and Sophia are putting together something amazing in the living room, but they're not letting anyone in." Before Amber could respond, soft knocks on the door revealed Alex, carrying a tray of breakfast. "The twins insisted that you have breakfast here today," he explained, exchanging a knowing look with Mason. "You're all conspiring," Amber observed, accepting the cup of coffee Alex offered. "Should I be worried?" "Trust the kids," Alex replied, sitting on the edge of the bed. "They have shown surprising wisdom lately." Mason squirmed with anxiety. "Can I come back? I promised to help with the lights." After he ran off, Alex approached Amber, stealing a quick kiss. "Merry Christmas," he murmured against her lips. "It's not Christmas yet," she teased. "No, but I have a feeling this one will be special." The morning dragged on with mysterious activities in the living room. Mrs. Peterson came and went carrying various materials, always with a knowing smile on her face. The aroma of cinnamon cookies, Catherine's recipe, filled the house. Close to lunch, Sophia appeared in the office where Amber was organizing some documents. "Can we wear the blue dress you wore to the ball?" he asked shyly. "For what?" "It's a surprise," the girl replied, but her eyes sparkled with expectation. "Sebastian said you looked like a princess in it." The unexpected comment warmed Amber's heart. Sebastian, normally so reserved with his feelings, was increasingly open. While getting ready, following the children's mysterious instructions, Amber reflected on the changes of the last few months. The Richardson mansion, once a symbol of grief and loss, had transformed into a home full of life and possibility. At 6 o'clock sharp, Mason knocked on her door. He looked adorable in a little suit, his hair neatly combed. "It's time," he announced solemnly, offering his arm like a little gentleman. The living room had been transformed. Hundreds of delicate lights twinkled between pine branches, creating a magical atmosphere. The imposing Christmas tree was decorated with a charming mix of traditional decorations and children's handmade creations. In the center of the room, Sebastian and Sophia waited next to the banner that Amber had glimpsed days before, now finally complete and beautifully decorated. Alex was there too, elegant in a dark suit, his hands nervously clutching something in his pocket. "Surprise!" the children exclaimed in unison. "We thought a lot," Sophia began, her voice shaking slightly with emotion. "About family," Sebastian continued, "and about how sometimes it grows in unexpected ways." Mason let go of Amber's arm and joined the twins, like when broken people meet and grow stronger together. Alex approached, and Amber noticed that his eyes were shining with unshed tears. "The kids helped me realize that sometimes fate has better plans than ours." He knelt down, and Amber's heart stopped. "It's not just about us," Alex continued, revealing a small velvet box. "It's about 5 people who found healing in each other." "About 2 families that became one," Sophia added softly. "About new beginnings," Sebastian added. "About love," Mason concluded, his small voice filled with certainty. "Amber Collins." Alex opened the box, revealing a delicate ring with a sapphire surrounded by small diamonds. "Would you accept to be an official part of this family? Not just as a housekeeper, not just as a girlfriend, but as a wife, mother, life partner?" The tears Amber had been holding back escaped freely. Through her blurry vision, she saw not just Alex, but 3 eager faces waiting for her answer. "Yes," she whispered, her voice cracking with emotion. "Yes to everything." The explosion of joy that followed was instantaneous. The kids threw themselves into a group hug as Alex slipped the ring onto her trembling finger. "We're officially brothers now," Mason exclaimed, hugging Sebastian and Sophia. Mrs. Peterson appeared with a tray of hot chocolate and cinnamon cookies, her motherly expression revealing that she had been in on the conspiracy all along. Later, after the children finally fell asleep, exhausted from excitement, Amber and Alex remained in the living room, dancing softly to Christmas music. "Catherine would have loved that," Alex murmured against her hair. "All this love, this joy, it was all she ever wanted for our family." "She never really left us," Amber replied softly. "It's here, in the twins' smiles, in the traditions we keep alive, in the love that continues to grow." A noise in the hallway caught his attention. The children, of course, weren't actually sleeping. 3 heads quickly disappeared behind the door, followed by barely contained giggles. "Guess we'll have to get used to our little cupids," Alex laughed. "I wouldn't change anything," Amber replied, resting her head on his chest. On the Christmas tree, among the traditional decorations and children's creations, a photo of Catherine smiled serenely, as if blessing the new chapter that began on that special December night, when 2 broken families finally became one. The new year has arrived, bringing significant changes to the Richardson mansion. The first was the decision for Amber and Mason to permanently move into the main house, leaving the annex for occasional visits. The second was the wedding announcement, scheduled for spring. "Isn't it too early?" asked Rachel during lunch in her hospital office. "You've only been together a few months." Amber watched the hospital parking lot through the window, remembering her days as a nurse. "When you know, you know," he replied simply. "Besides, we are already a family in practice." "Are the kids coping well?" A smile lit up Amber's face. "In fact, they are the most enthusiastic. Sebastian and Sophia insist on participating in every detail of the planning." The cell phone vibrated, a message from Sophia with photos of bridesmaid dresses. The girl's excitement was contagious, even through text messages. Back at the mansion, Amber found an unusual scene. Alex sitting on the floor of the twins' bedroom, surrounded by old photo albums. Mason was lying face down next to him, absorbed in the images. "Is this Sebastian learning to walk?" Mason asked, pointing to a photo. "Yes," Alex replied softly. "Catherine always said he was the most stubborn. He fell 7 times, got up 8. "Like Dad," Mason commented matter-of-factly. "Mom says he never gave up on anything." The silence that followed was charged with emotion. Alex met Amber's gaze at the door, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "Where are the twins?" she asked, sitting down with them. "In the attic with Mrs. Peterson," Alex explained. "Apparently they found Catherine's wedding dress and we want to use it." Sophia appeared in the doorway, panting with excitement. "I mean, not the whole dress, but the veil, for Amber." Sebastian appeared behind his sister, carefully carrying an antique box. "Mom wrote a letter about it too," he said, his voice mixing pride and nostalgia. "She wanted her special things to stay in the family." Amber felt her heart squeeze. "Are you guys sure?" The twins exchanged glances before Sophia spoke. "Absolutely. Besides," she smiled, "blue is your color, not white." The simplicity of the statement broke the tension of the moment. Alex laughed, pulling Sophia into a hug. "Your mother would say the exact same thing." The following weeks were a whirlwind of preparations. The mansion came to life with flower samples, invitation cards, and endless discussions about music and food. Mason revealed an unexpected talent for organization, keeping a detailed spreadsheet of all decisions. One afternoon, while they were reviewing the guest list in the library, Sebastian asked a question that caught everyone by surprise. "Can we invite Mason's father's family?" Silence fell over the room. Amber looked at her son, who had frozen over his sketchbook. "Dear," she began softly, "your father's family. They didn't keep much contact after he passed away." "But it's different now," Sebastian insisted. "We're all family now. Maybe they want to be a part of this too." Alex approached, placing a gentle hand on his son's shoulder. "Sometimes, Sebastian, people have different ways of dealing with loss. We can't always reconnect the way we'd like. Like me and Sophia before you arrived," the boy reflected. "We were so angry we wouldn't let anyone get close." "Exactly," Amber agreed, touched by Sebastian's maturity. "But love has a funny way of finding new paths." Mason, who had remained quiet, finally spoke. "It's okay, Seb. I've got you guys now." That night, after the kids went to bed, Amber found Alex in the office, still working. "They surprise me every day," he commented as she approached. "The way they process all of this, how they accept changes." "Children have an incredible ability to heal," Amber replied, sitting on the edge of her desk. "Sometimes bigger than ours." Alex took her hand, playing with her engagement ring. "Do you know what Sebastian told me today? That he finally understands why Catherine wrote all those letters. It wasn't about saying goodbye. It was about showing the way forward." Amber felt tears forming. She would be so proud of them. "Of all of us," Alex corrected softly, pulling her into his arms. "This family we've built together, this love we've found, is exactly what she wanted in her letters." The sound of footsteps in the hallway interrupted them, probably one of the children having trouble sleeping. It was a common occurrence now, as if they constantly needed confirmation that this new reality was permanent. "Should we check?" Amber asked, already moving towards the door. Alex smiled, that smile that still made his heart skip a beat. "Come on. After all, that's what families do." In the hallway, they found the three of them, Mason among the twins, all feigning innocence. "We can't sleep," Sophia quickly explained. "We were thinking," Sebastian continued, "can we make a blanket fort, like that first night?" Alex and Amber exchanged amused glances. Some battles weren't worth fighting, especially when they involved three pairs of pleading eyes. "Just this once," they replied in unison, knowing full well it wouldn't be the last. The invitation to give a talk at Hartford Hospital took Amber by surprise. Rachel had insisted that her unique experience, both as a nurse and as someone who found healing through a blended family, would be valuable to the pediatric team. "You don't have to do this," Alex said, watching her nervously rehearse in the mirror of the master bedroom, where they now slept together. Rachel would understand. "It's not about Rachel," Amber replied, adjusting her navy blazer. "It's about showing people that there is hope after loss, that families can heal in unexpected ways." A commotion in the hallway interrupted the conversation. Sebastian ran after Mason, both still in their pajamas, while Sophia tried to mediate the situation. "He took my science project," Mason protested, his cheeks red with frustration. "I was just trying to help," Sebastian defended himself. "The plane's wings were crooked." Amber and Alex exchanged amused glances. The dynamic between the boys had evolved into a true brotherly relationship, including the occasional dispute. "Boys," Alex interjected in a firm but gentle voice, "how about we work on the project together? I'm sure 4 heads are better than 1. The suggestion calmed tempers instantly. Sebastian returned the model plane to Mason, who immediately began explaining his ideas for the modifications. "See?" Sophia whispered to Amber. "That's why you need to give that talk, to show how love fixes broken things." The girl's wisdom still surprised Amber. Each day brought new discoveries about how children processed their losses and found healing through renewed love. At the hospital, Amber found familiar faces among the staff. Dr. Chen was in the front row, along with nurses who had worked with her years ago. But it was 4 faces at the back of the auditorium that captured her attention. Alex and the children had quietly arrived to support her. "When I lost my husband," Amber began, her voice steady despite the nervousness, "I thought Mason and I would be alone forever, that certain wounds would never fully heal." She paused, meeting Sebastian's eyes in the audience. The boy smiled encouragingly, holding Mason's hand. "But life has a curious way of surprising us. Sometimes healing comes through other people who are also broken, who understand our pain because they carry similar scars." Amber shared stories from the last few months, the initial challenges with the twins, the moments of breakthrough, the small daily victories that built bridges between 2 fractured worlds. "There is no magic formula for healing a broken heart," she continued, "but there is hope. There is the possibility of finding joy again, of building something new and beautiful from the fragments of what was lost." After the talk, while receiving hugs and words of thanks from her colleagues, Amber noticed Alex talking seriously to Rachel in a corner. Sophia approached, intertwining his fingers with hers. "Daddy is planning a surprise," the girl confessed in a whisper. "Something about the wedding, but I can't tell you more." That night, after putting the kids to bed, Amber found Alex in his office, working on something that he quickly hid when he saw her. "Aren't you going to tell me what you're up to?" she teased, sitting on his lap. "Patience," he smiled, kissing her temple. "But I can say that it involves a certain tradition that Catherine loved, and that Rachel helped me rescue." Amber felt her heart speed up. Since their engagement, small details about Catherine have come up naturally in conversations, always bringing more understanding and love than pain. "You were amazing today," Alex continued, playing with a strand of her hair. "Seeing you talk about our family, about how we found healing together, made me realize once again how lucky we are." A noise in the hallway interrupted them. Another secret meeting of the children, probably. His marriage plots had become an almost daily event. "Should we investigate?" Amber asked, already standing up. "No." Alex held her gently. "Let them have their secrets. After all, they were the ones who showed us the way here." That night, lying next to Alex, Amber reflected on how small moments could completely change the course of a life. A job interview, a set of determined twins, a lonely boy meeting brothers, each piece fitting together perfectly to form something bigger and more beautiful than either of them could have imagined on their own. And as sleep enveloped her, Amber was sure that Catherine was somehow smiling at them all. The tradition Catherine loved so much, Amber discovered one March morning, was a special planting ritual. In the extensive garden of the Richardson mansion, Alex had reserved a space where Catherine used to plant a tree for each significant family moment. "It started when the twins were born," Alex explained, showing Amber 2 twin oak trees that now stood majestically. She said that this way our love would continue to grow even after she was gone. Rachel had helped locate the specific nursery where Catherine purchased her seedlings, and now a young cherry tree was awaiting her moment to join the tree family. "For the wedding?" Amber asked, delicately touching the still fragile branches. "Actually," Alex smiled, "this is for today, to mark 2 months until the big day." Sebastian came running through the garden, closely followed by Mason and Sophia. "We found Mom's gardening diary," he announced, holding up a green leather-bound notebook. The pages revealed meticulous notes about each tree, planting dates, special meanings, even little drawings made by the twins when they were younger. "Look," Sophia pointed to a specific entry. "She wrote about the tree she planted when Dad proposed. She said she chose a red maple because the leaves change color but the tree stays strong." Mason studied the pages with fascination. "Can we plant one for me too? To mark when I became part of the family?" The innocent question touched everyone's hearts. Alex knelt down next to the boy. "How about we pick one together? We can plant it next to the cherry tree." The rest of the morning was dedicated to the planting ritual. Mrs. Peterson brought lemonade and cookies, watching with motherly eyes as the children took turns digging the perfect hole for the cherry tree. "Catherine would be happy," she commented quietly to Amber. Seeing the garden come to life again, the children continuing their traditions. Amber watched as Sebastian carefully explained to Mason the importance of each tree, while Sophia consulted her journal to make sure they were following all the steps correctly. "It's more than just planting trees, isn't it?" she replied. "It's about putting down roots, about leaving a legacy of love." Alex approached, carrying a small golden shovel that Amber recognized from old photographs. "It was hers," he explained. "Used it to plant every one of those trees." When it came time to position the cherry tree, everyone participated. The children's hands joined those of the adults on the golden shovel, and together they deposited the first layer of earth. "Now," Sophia declared solemnly, consulting her diary, "we need to give her a name. Mom always named her trees." "Hope," Mason suggested immediately. "Because it's about hope, isn't it? About believing that good things can grow even after sad times." The wisdom in the simplicity of his words left everyone silent for a moment. Alex pulled her son into a tight hug, and Amber noticed tears in the twins' eyes. "Hope is perfect," Sebastian agreed, already scribbling the name in his diary in his careful handwriting. Later, as the kids helped Mrs. Peterson prepare lunch, Amber found Alex standing in front of the newly planted Hope. "What are you thinking about?" she asked, intertwining her fingers with his. "How cyclical life is," he replied, pulling her closer. "Catherine always said that gardens are like families. They need constant care, but also space to grow naturally. And sometimes," Amber added softly, "they need new seedlings to keep blooming." The sound of laughter coming from the kitchen brought them back to the present. Through the window they could see the children trying to make something that looked suspiciously like a cake. "Should we be worried?" Amber laughed. "Probably, Alex replied with a smile. But you know what? Catherine also always said that the best memories come from the biggest messes. As they walked back to the house, Amber made a mental note to buy Mason a special seedling. Something that represented her own journey of healing and growth. Something that could grow strong and true alongside the hope cherry tree. Because in the end, she thought, that was what family was all about. Growing together, creating deep, strong roots, flourishing even in the most unlikely situations. And somewhere, Amber was sure, Catherine was smiling at them all, pleased to see her garden of love continuing to grow and prosper. 2 weeks before the wedding, the Richardson mansion was buzzing with final preparations. The garden, now awake with spring, proudly displayed the hope cherry tree, its first flowers blooming as a silent blessing for the coming union. Amber found Sebastian sitting alone under the red maple that Catherine had planted years ago, thoughtfully leafing through his gardening journal. "I found something interesting," he said as she approached. "Mom wrote about the day she found out she was sick. She planted a willow tree nearby, but not to mark the illness." His blue eyes, so much like his father's, shone with newfound understanding. It was to celebrate the life that still lay ahead. "Your mother was very wise," Amber replied softly, sitting down next to him. "She also wrote about the future," Sebastian continued, turning a few pages, "about how I hoped Dad would find someone who understood that love isn't about replacing, it's about expanding." The moment was interrupted by Mason and Sophia running through the garden, carrying ribbons and artificial flowers, another of the countless secret projects for the wedding. "Mom!" Mason called, stopping abruptly when he saw Sebastian's serious expression. "Ah, sorry. Are you guys having a moment?" The naturalness with which the children navigated between moments of joy and reflection still surprised Amber. It was as if they had developed an intuitive understanding of the delicate balance between honoring the past and embracing the future. "It's okay," Sebastian smiled, carefully putting away the diary. "Actually, I need your help with something special for the wedding." The three quickly delved into a whispered discussion, leaving Amber to her own thoughts. Alex found her like that, lost in contemplation under the red maple tree. "Penny for your thoughts?" he asked, sitting down next to her. "I was thinking about how we got here," she replied, resting her head on his shoulder. "In all the little decisions and coincidences that brought us to this moment." Alex took her hand, her fingers playing with her engagement ring. "Rachel told me something interesting today. Apparently, Catherine had mentioned you before I even met you." Amber straightened up, surprised. "Like this?" "She learned about her work at the hospital through Rachel. She was impressed by her dedication to her patients, especially after she lost James." Alex paused, choosing his words carefully. "In one of her last conversations with Rachel, she said she hoped someone like you would find their way into our family." The sound of children's laughter floated through the garden. The children were now busy decorating the willow tree that Catherine had planted, making it part of their mysterious preparations. "Sometimes," Amber murmured, watching the three of them work in perfect unison, "it feels like she orchestrated this all somehow." "Maybe he orchestrated it," Alex smiled. Catherine always had a gift for seeing beyond the present. Mrs. Peterson appeared on the terrace, carrying a tray of lemonade and cookies, still Catherine's original recipe, now perfectly reproduced by Sophia. "The children's dresses have arrived," she announced with a knowing smile. "And the veil is ready." Catherine's veil had been carefully restored and modernized, retaining its original elements while incorporating new details chosen by the twins. It was a perfect metaphor for how their lives had intertwined, honoring the past while building something new and beautiful. "Can I see?" Mason asked eagerly, abandoning his secret project with his brothers. "Not yet, dear," Mrs. Peterson replied with a motherly smile. "Some surprises need to wait for the right moment." The afternoon progressed with contemplative stillness, punctuated by moments of frantic activity when some new wedding detail needed attention. Sebastian and Sophia occasionally consulted the gardening diary, as if seeking their mother's silent approval for each decision. After dinner, As the kids finally succumbed to the tiredness of the day, Amber found Alex in his office, working on something that looked suspiciously like wedding vows. "You shouldn't peek," he joked, quickly hiding the paper. "I'm not spying," she replied, sitting on the edge of her desk. "I just came to say I love you, and our crazy family." Alex pulled her into his lap, his face softening with emotion. "Do you know what Sebastian told me today? That he finally understands why his mother loved gardens so much. Because families are like plants. They need strong roots to grow, but also space to expand in unexpected directions." Unexpected tears blurred Amber's vision. "When did our children become so wise?" "Probably at the same time we learned to see the world through their eyes," Alex replied, gently wiping away a tear that escaped. The familiar sound of footsteps in the hallway made them smile. Another nightly, secret meeting of the children, no doubt planning some surprise for the wedding. "Should we investigate?" Alex asked, even though he already knew the answer. "No," Amber replied, snuggling closer into his arms. "Some surprises are best when they remain mysterious until the right moment." And so, under the roof of the Richardson mansion, two families that had become one continued their delicate dance between past and future, their stories intertwining like the branches of trees in the garden, each maintaining their own essence as they grew together toward the sky. The wedding day dawned with special clarity, as if nature itself was conspiring to make the moment even more magical. Amber watched through the master bedroom window the final preparations in the garden, where white chairs formed an elegant semicircle around the willow tree that Catherine had planted. "It's time." Sophia's soft voice brought her back to the present. The girl looked stunning in her light blue dress, her dark hair adorned with small white flowers. In the room that previously belonged only to the twins, now shared harmoniously with Mason, the children had established a sort of headquarters for their preparations. Sebastian adjusted Mason's tie with the same concentration he devoted to his aviation projects, while Mrs. Peterson put the finishing touches on Catherine's veil. "We found this morning," Sebastian said, handing Amber an envelope that she immediately recognized as being in Catherine's handwriting. It was hidden in the gardening journal, marked specifically for today. With shaking hands, Amber opened the envelope. "For the wedding day, if you're reading this, it means my family has found its way back to happiness. I don't know your name or your story, but I know you're exactly who they needed. Someone capable of understanding that love doesn't diminish when it's shared. It only multiplies. To my children, who probably helped plan every detail of this day, remember that a mother's love is eternal and expandable. It grows to include new members, like a garden that blooms with each new seed planted. To Alex, my love, allow yourself to be completely happy. You deserve this new beginning, this chance to rediscover love and joy in its purest form. And to you, who are about to officially become part of this family, welcome to our garden of love. Care for it tenderly, allow it to grow in unexpected directions, and remember that the best stories are those written by hearts that have known both pain and healing. With eternal love, Catherine." Tears flowed freely down Amber's face as Alex knocked softly on the door. "Can I come in? The kids insist I need to see something before the ceremony." "You can't see the bride," Sophia protested automatically, but Sebastian interrupted her. "Actually, you can. It's part of the surprise." The children guided their parents to the library, where they had set up an impromptu exhibit. Photographs, old and new, blended harmoniously on the walls. Catherine with her newborn twins, James playing with Mason, moments captured from the past few months showing their families gradually becoming intertwined. In the center, a painting made by Sophia depicted the garden with all its special trees, each representing a significant moment in their shared lives. The Hope cherry tree held pride of place, its newly opened blossoms symbolizing the new beginning they would celebrate today. "We wanted a place where we could honor everyone," Mason explained, "where our stories could be together. Like a family," Sebastian added. "It doesn't matter how it started." Alex pulled the kids into a tight hug, and Amber joined them, her heart overflowing with love for this family that had become hers in such unexpected ways. The ceremony itself was a perfect reflection of their intertwined lives. Under Catherine's willow tree, with the garden in full bloom as witness, they exchanged vows that spoke not just of love, but of healing, growth, and the beauty of finding light even in the darkest moments. Sebastian and Sophia carried the rings in a small wooden box that they had decorated with model planes and flowers, a tribute to the passions that had initially brought them together. Mason, proud in his role as page, scattered flower petals along the path, each one carefully chosen from the garden Catherine had so lovingly cultivated. Rachel, sitting in the front row, smiled through her tears, knowing that she had helped plant the seeds of this union long before either of them realized it. During the reception, which took place in the same garden where so many important memories had been created, the children surprised everyone with a special gift: a new gardening journal, its first pages already filled with their own observations and hopes for the future. "To carry on Mom's tradition," Sophia explained, "but in our own way." At night, when soft lights illuminated the garden and guests danced under the stars, Amber found quiet time with Alex near the hope cherry tree. "You know what's funny?" she murmured against his chest as they slowly danced. "When I came to this house, I was just looking for a better job to give Mason a good life. I never imagined I would find a whole family. And I never imagined I could love like this again," Alex replied, kissing her forehead softly. "That I could find someone who not only understood my pain, but helped me turn it into something beautiful." The sound of children's laughter made them smile. The children had begun their own little celebration, dancing awkwardly among the trees that told the story of their family. And there, under the starry sky of Greenwich, two families who had become one celebrated not just a wedding, but the extraordinary journey that had brought them there. A journey of healing, growth, and the discovery that love, like the trees in Catherine's garden, has roots deep enough to sustain all who choose to be part of its shadow.